Welcome to Talking Dentures, where Simon answers all your questions about dentures.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Talking Dentures. Today's question is from Judgy Janet. And Judgy Janet says, how do you know if dentures fit properly? It's a good question because there's two things that people get confused about with dentures and fitting. So there's the fit of the denture and there's retention of the denture. So the retention is how well the denture stays in place, and the fit of the denture is how close it matches the shape of your mouth. So you can have a denture that doesn't match the shape of your mouth. There could be bits missing, there could be overextensions, there could be gaps here and there, but your mouth is conducive to wearing dentures, and so the dentures stay in place. Or you might get some sort of suction effect in the roof of the mouth which will hold the denture in place. So even though it's not fitting correctly, it will stay in place just because you've got really good retention. The opposite is true. So you may get a denture that fits perfectly. It follows the shape and contour of your mouth perfectly, but it doesn't stay in place. And it might not stay in place because all sorts of reasons. So there might not be enough bone structure there. So there's instability. So every time you bite, the denture's tipping. Or it might be that you've got a very low amount of saliva. A lot of people suffer with dry mouth. Technical name for that is xerostomia. It's where we're not producing enough or any saliva, and it makes the mouth very dry. You know, even if a denture's fitting perfectly, if you haven't got any teeth or anything to hold that denture in place and you've got a dry mouth, you're going to need some sort of glue or something, even if the denture fits perfectly. Because although it fits perfectly, it doesn't have retention. So they're the two different things that you need to think about when you've got a denture. If a denture doesn't feel as if it's fitting properly, because when it's in, you can feel that there's areas of pressure, or you might be able to visibly see that there's a gap somewhere where it's not touching your gums where it's supposed to, something like that. You can physically see it or feel that it's not fitting. Maybe different than if you put it in and it feels like it's touching everywhere, but it's just dropping or moving or something like that. So yeah, hope that answers the question. It's a little bit of a tricky question. You don't always know. I don't always know what's really happening. So if somebody comes to me and says their denture doesn't fit properly, I don't take that at face value. I think, well, the denture might be fitting properly, but it's just got no retention. And so the way that I would check that is I'd put a wash material in. So I'd put something in, like a silicone wash, put it in, pop it in the patient's mouth, get them to bite together so it pushes the denture into place. Give it a few minutes to set, take it out, and then I'll look at that wash. And if there's any gaps or spaces between the patient's soft tissue and the denture, it will show as a thick material in that area, and then I know that the denture's not fitting. If I do that wash and all that silicone material is displaced and pushed out of the fitting surface, and it's very thin wash left on the fitting surface, and I know the denture's fitting perfectly. So then I'd be looking at overextensions, because that's usually the next thing that makes a denture not fit properly. Is not that there's not enough material, but there's too much material, and it's typically up into the flanges or down into those spaces that the dentures are too big, and then when you smile, you're eating or anything like that, the gums are pushing the denture down and displacing it. And so just by reducing the denture down in those areas, sometimes we can then turn a poor, I nearly said fit of the denture, but it's not poor fit of the denture, it's poor retention of the denture by reducing the size of the denture down. Hope you found that useful, guys. I've got another message come through, so we'll see you in the next one.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to send us your questions. There's a link in the description below. Bye!